YouTube faithful, what do you want to talk about? That's Cody Rhodes' tagline, and it's poverty. We're already missing the tribal chief. Let's be real. Welcome to the channel. Today we got an NBA play-in game. We got two of them. We had two of them yesterday, and it was absolute poverty. I was messing around with a little bit of the golf here. I will discuss that later on in the week. For now, we got to cover these two play-in games, and my brothers and sisters in Christ, yesterday I came on the tube and I gave you guys the taco pair, and he's already bumped up a full point, and that was Mr. Joel MVP'd. You like what I did there? First half, 15.5 points. He's at 16.5 right now, so we're gonna have to wait and see, and you, the viewer, the YouTube faithful, are gonna have to decide if you're taking that bump or not. I personally don't know if I'm going to take this bump. I think it's gonna go like this, chat. He's either gonna soar over or he's gonna chalk it all under. I don't think it's gonna be that close. It usually is close, but with Embiid, he's got 20-point upside in a quarter, so honestly, if you want to take the bump or whatever, you could. Maybe you could go to his fantasy score at 27.5. I mean, it's all in play. 16.5 for Embiid is still pretty low. I ain't gonna lie to you. But what I actually did was went over here. Now that they did bump him up, I still have all my taco slips, the ones that cash, because AD sold the bag. And so did a man named Herb Jones. Herb Jones is the most hated man in America right now. 150,000 people took Herb Jones over, and he didn't even get one rebound. Folks, that is exactly why you fade the public, because that is the scenario you never want to be in, baby. If my model didn't put him at 4 rebounds last second, I would have never, ever, Chris Jericho style, touched him again. Pose. Herb Jones is banned. I don't care. I don't ban players. I ban franchises, but Herb Jones, you made the exception. You are permanently banned. Jonte Porter style, baby. You will never be in a Captain Crush slip again this season. Maybe next season. Everyone's ban gets reset next season. But we got MVP's Gabby at 24.5, which is crispy. You can get that in, or you can go over here at 30. It was at 29.5, I believe, but you do have push equity. You can go here. Now, I went over all this stuff yesterday with you, but I released that video late, so if you guys didn't see it, let me talk to you today, okay? The book line is 29.5. It's 30 on PrizePicks. You can get the Gabi, whatever, but as you can see, like I said yesterday, the matchup, it ain't hitting, Chief. It's a bad matchup. 3rd points allowed against the centers. Miami Heat, they play at a slow defensive pace. It's a pace down spot. Historically, Embiid has struggled against the Miami Heat. You hate to see it. Let's go to the head-to-head. Bang, 29, 21, 27, but I couldn't care less about 2023, and he just played on April 4th, but again, he only played a crispy, actually it's a soft 32 minutes. We need 34 to 36 to 38 minutes. LeBron played a solid 39 plus minutes the other day. Hopefully these guys do the same. How about them Warriors? They got blown out of the gym. Klay Thompson 0 for 10. Wow. This is the thing, guys. This isn't the playoffs. This is the play-in. So even though everybody should be playing hard, you still have a little bit of shenanigans. The playoffs is really when it becomes great. You get 7 games in a perfect world. At a minimum, you get 4, but teams make adjustments, and then we get to adjust based on what we see. So I really do enjoy the playoffs. And like the commercial says, the playoffs are different because everybody plays hard, and I'm going to talk about that momentarily. But as you can see, Embiid somewhat struggles against the Heat, right? But I don't care about that. He's Joel Embiid. This is more so. In 2023, 31 of 39, he's covered 30 points, baby. I'm going to leave it up to you, chat. You guys get to decide. If you want to use this app, it's Outlier Bet. I think everybody at this point has it, but the link is in the description for 30 free days. You're welcome. And then right here in the notes, you can see I got Joel Embiid. He has a 1.87 fantasy point per minute. That's crispy. 1.87 is crispy. 39% usage rate. If you haven't figured it out, when Joel Embiid's on the court, everyone else takes a back seat to Joel Embiid. That's Maxey, that's Harris, that's Kelly Oubre, that's all of them, baby, because it's the Joel Embiid show. So I ain't gonna get off Joel Embiid. If you want to take his fantasy or anything like that, you can. My favorite would be just his Gabi, then his points, then his fantasy. All of these are in the mix. They are extremely high lines. I won't front, but like I said, the main priority was his first half points. It's bumped now. You make that decision. I may have a few slips today with that 16.5 too, because I honestly think he's going to get probably 17 to 18. He's going to play most of the he's going to play most of the first quarter. Then he'll get subbed out around the 1 to 2 minute mark. He'll sit until like the 6 or 7 minute mark, come back in, and hopefully get it done. He's going to need to get his free throws. He's going to need to make his hook shots. He's going to need it all, baby. Otherwise, you're going to be eating chalk with old Captain Crush. I got all the taco pairs that hit 2 of the 3 waiting on Joel Embiid's first half points, and I need it like air, brother. I need it like air. April's been my worst month. In the last 10 months, April's been the worst one, but you know what? I anticipated that. I'm down a bunch of units, but by the end of April, I will be back in the green and I will have the receipts to prove it because I am willing it. It's going to happen. You keep making the right plays day after day. Eventually, everything clicks in your favor. That's just how it is, baby. Just like poker. So, the next fly in the ointment, we got to discuss Butler. I told you, they play different in the playoffs. Is Jimmy going to be poverty Jimmy or playoff Jimmy? That's the whole slate right there in a nutshell. Are we getting playoff Jimmy or poverty Jimmy? I really don't know, fam, but I will tell you this. Playoff Jimmy Butler is a thing. So, you got his points to consider, which I think those are high. I did take his alternate line over on Chalkboard, which I'll post my slip and post edit. You can take his fantasy score if you like. His best mathematical proposition, I would think, is his rebounds at 5.5. My model has him at 5.9, so it's going to be close. But honestly, I don't even like this proposition. I don't like any of this stuff. Maybe I take a shot on his RA at 11.5. He has been doing decent on that, but again, this is a must-win game for him, so it's a little bit different of a situation. His PRA gives you a little bit of push equity at 35, but I think 36 PRA, if we get poverty Himmy and not playoff Jimmy, is going to be a tough ask. So we can go right over here to DG Fantasy, one of my partners, promo code CRUSH, and get you your 25% off and a free 30 days of Captain's Cord. However, I typed in Butler. It's real easy to see. All of his lines, baby. All of his lines. They're poverty if we're odd shopping, but Pinnacle has it at minus 133. In my book, Pinnacle is king. His assist, minus 135. So maybe we're getting value on the RA. I'm not sure exactly. All of this doesn't look too crispy if you ask me. But this is the world we live in, guys. This is what we got right now. Over 11.5. Pinnacle doesn't even have a value for it. Minus 118. Remember, we want to get 54% or higher in a 5-leg slip to be considered plus EV. So right now, even with this, we're not getting any expected value here, but I am using this to compare all the lines, and then we can go from there. But again, it is a playoff situation, and these books have been off a lot. But like I said yesterday, everything was being juiced under, and sure enough, 90% of props besides LeBron went under. All the Warriors went under, which is insane, except for Kuminga. We talked about Kuminga, cash him, but you can see here, they have propositions for later in the week. This one right here, Nikola Jokic under 13.5 rebounds. I didn't even know it was good across the books, but I already took less on that. Now seeing it up here, I highly advise you take less on Joker's rebounds as well. 14 is a big ask for that matchup, but it is Joker, so you have to figure that in too. You can see Kelly's being juiced under. DeJounte Murray under 35.5 PRA. It's almost right at 54. I probably won't be sweating that. Guys, the reality is it's a play-in tournament, and even though it may be good, who the heck wants to sweat unders, baby? Not Captain Chris. Look at Herb Jones. Look at Herb Jones. 17.5 PRA. Are we going back to Herb Jones? No, he's banned. I wasn't kidding. He's banned. He's out of the mix. He's out of the mix. So you can take Butler. I made my case there. I honestly don't know what I'm doing, guys, with Jimmy Buckets. I'm not going to lie. I showed you. Everything should literally be unders right now. There was a prop that I liked with Maxey. They took it off. This is going to be a tough one right here to decide Trey Young's fantasy. Let me go to my notepad right quick, and let's see what we can do with old Trey. Yay! All right, so we got Trey Young, 1.36 fantasy points per minute with a 30% usage rate, baby. If you can find Trey Young's turnovers, take a shot on it. Jimmy Buckets, 1.11 fantasy point per minute with a 24% usage rate. And then you got DeMar DeRozan, 1.07. That's poverty, man. 25% usage rate. But the thing is, the Bulls are playing the Atlanta Hawks. That's an elite matchup. If you wanted to do a stud slip, right, this is what you could do right here. This would be the stud slip. It would be these four: Trey, Joel, Jimmy, and DeMar, and you just pray that they all go off. Honestly, this slip could hit, but personally, I don't like it. I think it's a little bit too high, and I don't want to have much to do with it. DeMar's been playing good recently, and the matchup is crispy. but he is DeMar DeRozan, and he lives to sell slip. So back to DeJounte Murray. I got his rebounds under 6.5. They bumped it down to 6. I think maybe you could still take it less than 6. I don't think he's going to get 7. I hope he doesn't. I also like less at 12 RA. It's a tough, slow matchup for him. But on top of that, Trey being back in the mix takes away a lot of his value. He should be back in a scoring role, and he shouldn't really need to be facilitating and doing everything that he's been doing. But I will say this, DeJounte Murray over half an offensive rebound. I usually take it, and it's been a cash cow for me most of the season. I will have exposure to over half an offensive rebound for DeJounte Murray. That's one slip max, fella. Don't get carried away now. Now let me go over to the dunks and see if there's anything over yonder. Clint Capella over 1.5 dunks, baby. Is the dunk king making his return? I can't. I don't know what's going to happen, because if Drummond and Vooch are in there, I really don't want to have much to do with Clint. But if you're inclined to take it, maybe you could. I'm not going there. In fact, I don't think there's any lottery props that I'm going to be messing with today, except for DeJounte Murray over half an offensive rebound. Yeah, it's just DeJounte Murray over half an offensive rebound for the lottery props, okay? So get that out of the mix. And I like DeJounte Murray under 12 RA. Folks, this is really hard situation because these teams don't match up well. There's a lot of new pieces to the Miami Heat. Like, there's a ton of new pieces here. We have to factor in Tyler Hero. We have to factor in my buddy Caleb. We got to factor in all these pieces, man. It's hard being a bettor right now. It's hard out in these streets. I want to say Vooch can get 20 points. And my model projects him for 20.9. So maybe he can. Maybe this is something we have to consider. Again, it is a good matchup for him. But I feel like every time I go to Vucevic, he finds a way to sell me, baby. He finds a way to sell me. I'm begging you, Vooch, not to sell the boys, man. We just got to make it to May. We just got to get to the playoffs so we can actually make some coin. And then baseball and WNBA will start to get good. But right now, this is poverty. Where's his points at, baby? This is Dante Exum. I ain't interested in Dante. Where you at, Vooch? Hiding on Captain Crush. There he is. We got Vooch in the mix. All right, let's take a look. Points allowed, 20th. Versus centers, they're 16th. Overall, they're 28th. Listen, everybody knows the Hawks is the nut matchup. They play fast, no defense, yada, yada, yada. Vooch got big minutes against the Knicks, 42, 37, 38. Look at this. They've been making a run. He's been making minutes. If he does play 40 minutes tonight, he's going to soar over 20 points. I promise you that. But here we go with the head-to-head. You could see on April 1st, he only had 5 points. That ain't hitting, Vooch. And then on 2/12, he had 24 points. Honestly, I don't really think I'm going to have much of Vooch either, folks. I honestly, my gut is telling me just to take the unders and move on, okay? The thing is, I don't even really have to put much coin today because I took everything yesterday with Embiid's first half points, so my sweat is secure. If Embiid cashes today, then my slips from yesterday will cash. I set that up knowing that this was going to be a poverty slate, but I know this is too high for DeMar DeRozan in the long term. I know he dropped 30, 39, 34, 30, and I get he's been getting it done and all that, but 29.5 points for DeMar is still high. So is this. I can't recommend to the YouTube faithful to take unders on it because I'm not going to advocate for DeMar DeRozan under against the Hawks in a must-win game. I just can't do it. But if you have the stones to do it, get her done, baby. So for DeJounte, remember, you take over half an offensive rebound or you take less 12 RA or less on the rebounds. Either of those is fine. And then let me see if there's anything else that you can get in the mix. I think you could take a shot on Bam Adebayo over 10.5 rebounds, possibly. It's going to be close. I kind of like his defensive rebounds better. But again, remember, Tyler Hero, all these guys are back in the mix, so it's tough to say anything right now. I will have Trey Young's fantasy over in a few. I don't want to bury the lead again. I'm not a fan of this matchup. Folks, I'm not a fan of this slate, but it's my duty, it's my job to come on here and give you guys my thoughts. And to keep it a buck, maybe we should just be fading this slate. If you didn't get Embiid's first half points yesterday, then maybe you should fade it. Now, as far as the MLB goes, you got Christopher Sanchez facing the Rockies. I do have a little bit exposure here. Maybe we should be taking his fantasy score. I would challenge you guys to look at this if you want. I do like his Gabi at 4.5. Remember, baseball is really hard with the hooks. 0.5 is surgical. I like to wait for a few more data points. Let me go back to the NBA real quick, but pretty much this is kind of where I'm at right here. And I don't love it at all, guys. I'm telling you right now, I do not love it at all. And I'm not going to force it betting just to bet. I'm not doing that in these situations, okay? I have my coin on Embiid from yesterday, and we'll wait and see what happens. I showed you guys the stud slip you could make if you were inclined to. Anything else, you'll have to be in the live stream today at my Discord, guys. How do you get in? CaptainCrush.net gold package. Bang! 83 cents a day, $24.99. Trending like usual. We got a good community in there. April's been tough sledding, not just for you, but for everyone involved. All right, yesterday it was always LeBron, but you still know that it's a tough day. Yesterday we cashed a sleeper slip, and sleeper still didn't pay us. It's absolutely insane, okay? Austin Gomber had 5.5 hits allowed. He had 6. They haven't paid us for it yet. We'll have to wait and see if they make it right. My parlay play hit, slip I gave out hit. Thank God. Don, I don't know where he got this. CJ McCollum let everyone down. Davis sold the taco. Herb Jones, Rui, 23 fantasy points. Guys, it was a rough day yesterday, but it was rough for everybody. Some of this stuff is just crazy. These lines are way too high, like I told y'all. But it's not a suggestion, guys. Bankroll management, get in the mix. Use your coin wisely. Don't get carried away, and do not chase your losses, folks. You gotta hang in there for the storm to pass. And with that, I'm just gonna call it. I'm not forcing it. I just wanted to give you guys some final thoughts. Remember, most of the time when I do these videos, I'm here to get you guys to think about certain things in a certain way. I can't really spoon feed you, especially on a 2-game slate where both of these teams just came back from extended injuries. They have new pieces. Trey Young to the Hawks, Tyler Hero and Caleb to the Heat, Joel Embiid to the Sixers. I mean, come on, man. But in the playoffs, Captain Crush will be here with the spoon for you guys. Good luck in all your contests. Here's the salute. Flex Fridays coming up, baby. Hang tough, hang tight. And as always, my brothers and sisters in Christ, let's crush.